What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining me today for my June 2021 comic book haul. Stay tuned. Alright, so here's the haul for June 2021. We've got volumes 2 and 3 for Invincible's Ultimate Collection. The Spider-Gwen Omnibus, which recently came out, which collects all of the original Spider-Gwen series that came out a few years ago. The AllNew Wolverine, which again is a relatively new series. It just came out, collecting all of Lara's run. And then I actually found the new XMen by Grant Morrison, used for half off cover price at a local bookstore. So this was just a really cool find, and I've heard that it's a good way to try and introduce someone to X-Men, so I'm going to introduce me to X-Men using this. But I thought it was a really cool find because I know this is really difficult to find a lot of the time too. So for the omnibuses, I feel like I'm going to just flip through them real quick to give you a sense of the stories. But as for Invincible, I don't want to spoil too much for people who are watching the show, since this is a really long continuing release. So just suffice it to say, Invincible is good. If you like superhero stuff, check it out. Not being a DC or Marvel title, it has a lot of freedom to go in different directions that you don't really see superhero stuff do very often. So excited to read these when I get the time. And fair warning with all of these omnibuses that I'm about to flip through, I don't know what's spoiler and what's not spoiler, so watch at your own risk. I just do know that more of the Invincible stuff would probably be spoilers, so that's why I'm refraining from showing off that one. So I won't spend a lot of time on this new X-Men run, because I frankly don't know a lot about it, since I don't know much about X-Men, but just figured I'd flip through a little bit, give a little bit of an overview of what the art looks like. But again, I can't say much because all I really know about X-Men is what I know from the Deadpool movies, from 90% of Logan, since I watched it on an airplane and didn't quite finish it. And then I recently watched X-Men First Class. So that's about the extent of my knowledge with X-Men when it comes to it. I will say these characters look really cool though. I like that this is a more modern art style because I can't really get into the classic ones a lot. It's kind of difficult for me sometimes. Flip to the back here where we usually have some of those alternate covers. We got Wolverine there. I do recognize Wolverine. Some sketches back here, and here we go. Here's the alternate covers. We've got Mystique, and I don't know who else that's supposed to be. It's supposed to be Nightcrawler, maybe? I'm not sure. It's not Beast. More Wolverine. Not entirely sure. Emma Frost, maybe? Again, not totally sure on all these characters. I'm probably misnaming them and going to get grilled in the comments for it. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this. It's my first real foray into X-Men. If you can find this, highly recommend picking it up. Here's a look at what all it contains inside. And then without the dust jacket, just got a nice sleek black cover there. Nice sleek black spine. And then not much on the back. So there you have it. Alright, so here's the Spider-Gwen. This is actually the direct market cover, not the cover that you'd get from like Amazon or something. I did vastly prefer how this one looked, so you're welcome to choose your own if you end up getting this, but this was just the one that I preferred. It's got a nice purple spine there. I do like that. And some covers on the back. I am sad that the Gwenom didn't make it onto like the front cover or something, because I just think Gwenom is a really cool design, especially how she was on some of the issue covers. Take off the dust jacket. It's nice comic-esque spine and cover. So for those of you who don't know, Spider-Gwen is basically alternate reality. I think it's actually become somewhat canon now, my friend said, but I'm not sure how. But it's like if Gwen Stacy got the powers of Spider-Man instead of Peter Parker. If you saw Into the Spider-Verse, then you kind of know what I'm talking about. So Spider-Gwen is a series that came out in 2015 was, I believe, when it debuted, this edition anyway. And it's primarily written by Jason Latour, with a little bit of guests here and there. But in it, Gwen Stacy gets bitten by the radioactive spider, and she's part of a band called the Mary Janes. So it's a lot of coming of age for her learning to be Spider-Gwen as she is. I don't think it's officially her hero name in this series. I know later in other series it's like Ghost Spider. I think it's actually Spider-Woman in here, but I could be wrong about that. This was actually one of the few series that I started getting into comics with a few years ago. I think I got through around issue 10 or so, and I really did enjoy what I read of it. I was wanting to continue it when I got back into comics just a little while ago, and then I saw they were coming out with this nice omnibus edition, so I thought, yeah, you know, this is a great way to get into it. Got Murdoch. There's a lot of guest characters in here, or possibly even just rewrites of your normal, everyday Marvel Spider-Man universe characters. The pages do feel a little bit thin. I'm not really sure why that is. They don't have the same texture that other comics I've read recently have had for the omnibus edition. So I don't really know if that's a good or a bad thing. I guess it lets the book be a little bit slimmer, but it does make it feel not cheaper in a way, but just lighter. Again, don't know if that's really good or bad. I mean, the art looks great on the page. I think it works for this art. And sometimes you have really glossy pages and heavy ones that sometimes don't exactly match like classic art style. So I think here it works fine for Spider-Gwen. So we've got what's his name? Spider-Ham, I'm assuming. Wolverine there, the Lara version, I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm not going to flip through the whole thing here. I'm just going to skip to the back, show off some covers. We got Silk, Spider-Woman. So I think this crosses over with the Spider-Verse a little bit. So you do get those other spider people involved. I think Miles Morales shows up. Yeah, there's, I think, Miles. Yeah, it's Miles. So I don't really know how the crossover stuff works. I've never really dealt with a crossover event myself. So I'm going to find out. And that's the cover that I really love, is that Spider, or the Gwenom cover. I just think that looks really cool. This might just be me. But yeah, I'm really excited for this release. I think it's really cool that Spider-Gwen got her own omnibus. And I'm looking forward to hopefully the Ghost Spider omnibus whenever it comes around. Alright, and so here we have the all-new Wolverine by Tom Taylor, which is X-23/Lara, becoming the Wolverine after Logan's death. We have a nice bluish binding there, looks like. It's a thinner book than the Spider-Gwen one. This is, again, the direct market cover, so I chose the variant because I just liked it better. But there is another cover available. Let's see what it looks like under the hood. And there we go. Nice cover there. Ooh, that's nice. That's real nice. So I chose to get into the all-new Wolverine as not really a starting point for me with Wolverine, but just because I do like female superheroes when done well. There's a lot of examples of how to do superhero or female superheroes not well, and I'm hoping this turns out to be the former, where she's a good superhero on her own terms. I chose that just because I thought the design looked cool. I'm not the biggest fan of Logan, at least not yet. Maybe I will be if I get into more stuff with him in it. But I thought I'd try Lara's turn as Wolverine first, which might be a bad idea. I know this crosses over with a bunch of other Marvel characters. I know Squirrel Girl shows up, Spider-Gwen. I believe Deadpool shows up, maybe. Could be mistaken on that part. Doctor Strange. So this does take place after, like I say, Logan passes away. And it's Lara picking up the mantle of Wolverine and coming into her own as a superhero carrying on a mantle that was, it meant a lot to be Wolverine. And then we have Spider-Gwen. Again, these pages do feel thinner, so maybe that's just the new trend with updated omnibus nowadays, and I just wasn't... I hadn't gotten the memo. The bad thing about some of these omnibuses is no matter really how glossy the page is for some reason, compared to like your trade paperbacks, if you read it under a ceiling light, then you get this weird glare on the page that it's really hard to actually read. So a lot of times I have to go completely outside where my chair and everything's set up just to have a space where I can read the book without it all being covered up by glares and stuff. So I don't know if that's something that's just because of this paper style. I'm guessing it is, because I don't get that with trade paperbacks, but it's not really something I thought about until it really started happening with the omnibuses that I was reading. So do let me know though if what you think of this Wolverine story, and also if you have a good point to start with regular old Logan Wolverine, because I did kind of choose this because I thought maybe it would be beginner friendly with Laura not having so much of a past herself. I know she does have a past, so don't take that the wrong way, but there's not as much, I feel like, to unpack as there is with Logan, and I just wasn't really sure where to start with him. So if you can help me out with that, I'd be very much obliged. But it does seem like, though, it's really one big crossover story, because I just see so many characters that even I recognize, so I can't imagine how many are actually in here. Because I know that I am not catching probably at least half of the characters that are Marvel big shots. We get some of the extra covers here at the end. Some nice. It's Deadpool. You can draw Wolverine. And then just some sketches here at the end. So this is going to be read for me after I read Spider-Gwen and catch up on some of my DC titles that I've got, and also read Invincible. That pretty much does it for now, so thanks for joining me. I'm kind of new to doing these comic overviews. I feel like with manga, I have a little bit more that I can discuss myself and talk about. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not doing that well either. But if there's something you'd like me to really talk about that I can, I'm more than happy to. Just being a newbie myself with comics, it sometimes feels like it's a little difficult to know exactly how much to talk about or what to talk about without going into far too much detail or spoilers or anything. So would definitely love to know what you'd like to see with these kinds of hauls and overviews of new omnibuses. That's all for this time, but there will be more to come in the future. So see you next time.